When Madonna and Guy Ritchie announced their divorce in 2008, it sent shockwaves through Hollywood and beyond. The Queen of Pop, known for her boundary-pushing career and unapologetic personality, seemed to have found stability with the British filmmaker. For nearly 8 years, they were a power couple, blending music, film, and family in a way that fascinated fans and the media. From glamorous red carpet appearances to heartfelt interviews where Madonna praised their deep connection, their marriage looked solid from the outside. But behind closed doors, things were falling apart. So, what could have gone so wrong that their seemingly solid marriage unraveled so quickly? Stay with us as we delve into the real details of this high-profile split. But before we dive into the real reason behind their divorce, let's rewind to where it all began, starting with a closer look at the life of Madonna. Madonna's meteoric rise to becoming the Queen of Pop. However, while Madonna ruled the entertainment world, her personal life was far from picture perfect. Long before the world knew her as the Queen of Pop, Madonna was just Madonna Louise Ciccone, a young girl from Bay City, Michigan, born on August 16, 1958. Her childhood was anything but ordinary. Raised in a strict Catholic household with Italian and French-Canadian roots,
I'm an Italian-American and I'm proud of it.
Madonna's early years were filled with both deep tragedy and undeniable ambition. Her father, Silvio Tony Ciccone, worked as an optical engineer while her mother, Madonna Fortin, was a homemaker. But heartbreak struck early. When Madonna was just 5 years old, her mother was diagnosed with breast cancer. Too young to fully understand what was happening, Madonna remembered her mother growing weaker by the day, yet still trying to care for her 6 children. In 1963, her mother passed away, leaving a devastating void in her life. That loss changed Madonna forever. She later admitted that she spent much of her childhood seeking attention and validation, craving the love she no longer had from her mother. This fierce determination to stand out would follow her throughout her career. But growing up in the Detroit suburbs of Pontiac and Rochester Hills, Madonna wasn't just a girl dealing with grief. She was also a perfectionist in the making. She was the third of 6 siblings: Anthony, Martin, Paula, Christopher, and Melanie. And from a young age, she showed signs of unshakable ambition. Her father pushed for a structured life, enrolling Madonna in classical piano lessons, but she had other ideas. She convinced him to let her take ballet lessons, and that's where she truly found herself. Her ballet teacher, Christopher Flynn, quickly noticed her talent and told her she had what it took to be something far greater than she ever imagined.
Looked just like the most innocent child in the world.
He urged her to pursue a career in dance, sparking a dream that would soon take her out of Michigan and into the world. Madonna was a straight-A student at Rochester Adams High School, a member of the cheerleading squad, and someone who never did anything halfway. After graduating in 1976, she earned a dance scholarship to the University of Michigan. She even spent a summer studying at the American Dance Festival in Durham, North Carolina. But soon she realized that following the conventional path wasn't for her. Posing in New York. In 1978, at just 19 years old, Madonna made a decision that would change her life forever. She dropped out of college and moved to New York City with just $35 in her pocket. Years later, she recalled that terrifying yet thrilling moment. It was the first time I'd ever taken a plane, the first time I'd ever gotten a taxi cab. I came here with $35 in my pocket. It was the bravest thing I'd ever done. New York wasn't kind to dreamers, and Madonna quickly found herself in a world of struggle. She took on grueling jobs, including working at Dunkin' Donuts, where she was famously fired after just one day for squirting jelly at a customer. To make ends meet, she also worked as a coat check girl and even posed for nude art classes, not because she wanted to, but because she had no other choice. While juggling these jobs, Madonna immersed herself in New York's vibrant music and art scene. She joined the band Breakfast Club as a drummer before stepping into the spotlight as a vocalist. It was in this era of struggle that she crafted what would become her signature style, a blend of raw ambition, street-smart attitude, and fearless creativity. By 1982, after years of relentless hustle, Madonna had her first real breakthrough. She released her debut single, Everybody, under Sire Records. And while it wasn't an instant mainstream hit, It quickly gained traction in New York dance clubs. The song's success paved the way for her self-titled debut album in 1983, which introduced the world to tracks like Holiday and Borderline. But it wasn't just her music that caught attention. It was her image, her energy, and her unapologetic attitude. With her lace gloves, layered jewelry, messy hair, and rebellious spirit, Madonna was making a statement. The real explosion came in 1984 with the release of Like a Virgin. The title track, paired with her provocative performance at the MTV Video Music Awards, was nothing short of a cultural shockwave. Dressed in a white wedding gown, rolling around on stage, she pushed boundaries like no female artist had before. Some were outraged, but millions were hooked. From there, she never looked back. Her third album, True Blue, delivered hits like Papa Don't Preach and Open Your Heart, proving that she could blend catchy melodies with bold, controversial themes. Then came Like a Prayer in 1989, an album that pushed boundaries. The title track's music video, featuring religious imagery, burning crosses, and interracial romance, sparked massive backlash. Even the Vatican condemned her. But despite the controversy, the album was a smash hit. By the 90s, Madonna wasn't just dominating the music charts, she was taking over Hollywood. She starred in films like Desperately Seeking Susan and Evita, for which she won a Golden Globe for Best Actress. Her influence on fashion was equally massive. From her cone bras designed by Jean-Paul Gaultier to her ever-evolving reinventions, Madonna set trends rather than followed them. Every new era brought a new Madonna persona, keeping fans and critics on their toes. Madonna thought she found the one, but fate had other plans. Before Madonna met Guy Ritchie, she had her fair share of high-profile romances, each of which captivated the public as much as her music did. The Like a Virgin hitmaker was no stranger to love in the limelight, and every relationship she entered became headline news. Madonna's first marriage was to actor Sean Penn, a union that was as intense as it was short-lived. The couple tied the knot in 1985, the same year Madonna released her album True Blue, which she openly dedicated to Penn. In the liner notes, she called him the coolest guy in the universe, a declaration that showcased the depth of her infatuation. Their romance was filled with grand gestures, like Penn famously spending hours building a gigantic heart in the sand for Madonna on her birthday. However, their relationship was also plagued by arguments and violent altercations. One of their most infamous moments came in 1986 when Penn was arrested for assaulting a photographer who tried to snap pictures of them on their honeymoon. Their turbulent love story came to an end in 1989 when they divorced, marking the end of one of Hollywood's most volatile marriages. Despite the heartbreak, Madonna didn't shy away from love. Shortly after, she found herself drawn to another Hollywood heavyweight, Warren Beatty. The two met on the set of Dick Tracy in 1989, where Madonna played the seductive, breathless Mahoney, and Beatty, the film's lead, portrayed the titular character. Their chemistry extended beyond the screen, and soon they became a thing. Their time together was marked by glamorous red carpet appearances, but their relationship was short-lived. In 1991, Beatty admitted in an interview that Madonna's relentless desire for fame and the constant presence of cameras in her life was something he couldn't handle. Madonna then turned heads when she dated rapper Vanilla Ice in 1991. The pairing was unexpected, and the public found it hard to believe that the Queen of Pop had fallen for the young rapper best known for Ice Ice Baby. Their whirlwind romance was marked by public outings and affectionate gestures, but it wasn't long before cracks appeared. In an interview, Vanilla Ice later revealed that he ended things after Madonna released her controversial book in 1992, which featured explicit photos of the two. He felt exploited, calling it uncool. Then came Carlos Leon, a relationship that took a different turn. Unlike her previous romances, Madonna's bond with the Cuban fitness trainer was quieter and more intimate. The two met in 1994 and welcomed their daughter, Lourdes, in 1996. Motherhood seemed to change Madonna, and for a brief moment she appeared to step away from the dramatic love stories that had defined her past. Though their romance ended soon after Lourdes' birth, Carlos remained a steady presence in Madonna's life, and the two successfully co-parent their daughter. By the late 1990s, Madonna had evolved both as an artist and a woman. It was during this time that she met filmmaker Guy Ritchie through mutual friends Sting and Trudy Styler in 1998. Unlike her past relationships, this one seemed different. Madonna often spoke about how Ritchie brought stability and humor into her life, a refreshing change from the roller coaster romances she had endured before. Their red carpet appearances exuded an undeniable chemistry, Ritchie often seen whispering in Madonna's ear, making her burst into laughter, or Madonna leaning into him with a rare softness. In interviews, she gushed about his wit, his masculinity, and the way he made her feel protected. Their romance moved quickly. In August 2000, they welcomed their son, Rocco, and just a few months later in December, they married in a lavish ceremony at Skibo Castle in Scotland. The wedding was a grand affair, attended by celebrities and members of British high society. Madonna, draped in an elegant Stella McCartney gown, looked every bit the fairy tale bride. Ritchie, dashing in a kilt, appeared equally smitten. At the time, people saw them as a power couple. Madonna, the ultimate pop icon, and Ritchie, the edgy British director. For years, their marriage seemed like a perfect balance of opposites. Madonna embraced life in the English countryside, trading Hollywood parties for horse riding and rustic charm. She even adopted a British accent, a change that didn't go unnoticed by fans. Ritchie, on the other hand, enjoyed the glamour of Madonna's world while still maintaining his down-to-earth persona. In interviews, Madonna described their love as deep and real, a rare kind of connection that she hadn't experienced before. But as we'll see later, cracks began to form beneath their seemingly perfect life. What started as an exciting contrast of personalities soon became a point of tension. And when their marriage finally unraveled in 2008, it wasn't just another celebrity split, it was a shocking end to a love story Madonna had once believed would last forever. The movie disaster that made Madonna swear off acting. While you may know that Madonna won a Golden Globe Award for Best Actress, did you know she once vowed never to act again? For someone who had once dazzled audiences with her performances in Desperately Seeking Susan and Evita, this declaration came as a shock. But what could have made the Queen of Pop, known for her fearlessness and reinvention, completely turn her back on Hollywood? The answer lies in one of the most infamous cinematic disasters of her career. Shortly after their extravagant Scottish wedding in 2000, Madonna and Guy Ritchie, eager to collaborate artistically, embarked on a film project that would ultimately become a stain on both their careers. In 2002, Madonna took on the lead role of Amber Layton in Swept Away, a remake of the 1974 Italian film Travolti da un insolito destino nell'azzurro mare d'agosto, directed by Lena Wertmuller. The original was a cult classic, known for its biting social commentary and complex power dynamics. However, Madonna and Ritchie's version failed to recapture its magic. The story follows Amber, a wealthy and entitled socialite who finds herself stranded on a deserted island with a rugged fisherman, played by Adriano Giannini, the son of Giancarlo Giannini, who starred in the original. The film attempts to explore themes of class struggle and unexpected romance, but instead, it became a textbook example of how not to remake a beloved classic. Critics did not hold back. On Rotten Tomatoes, Swept Away holds an abysmal 5% approval rating, with the critical consensus stating, muddled and lacking the political context of the original, Swept Away offers further proof that Madonna can't act. The New York Times called it a vanity project gone terribly wrong, while Roger Ebert wrote, Madonna and Ritchie take a film about power and submission and turn it into a lifeless exercise in indulgence. Even audiences, many of whom were devoted Madonna fans, couldn't find much to praise. The financial failure of Swept Away was just as brutal as its critical reception. With a budget of $10 million, the film failed to gross even half of that amount. Its opening weekend brought in a meager $354,000, and it only managed to scrape together $1,365,000 worldwide. The humiliation didn't stop there. The film was pulled from theaters after just 3 weeks, making it one of the most infamous box office bombs of the decade. Award season was no kinder. At the 2002 Stinkers Bad Movie Awards, the film won Worst Picture, while Madonna took home Worst Actress and Worst On-Screen Couple alongside Giannini. The following year, the Razzie Awards delivered another round of embarrassment. Swept Away, was named Worst Picture and Worst Remake or Sequel. Madonna herself won Worst Actress, Worst Screen Couple, and even Worst Supporting Actress for Die Another Day. Ritchie, meanwhile, took home Worst Director, solidifying the film's legacy as an industry-wide joke. The backlash was so brutal that Madonna publicly declared she was done with acting. What was meant to be an exciting creative venture with her husband had turned into a humiliating lesson. The experience made it clear her true power was in music, where she continued to dominate the industry without question. But while she could leave the film industry behind, she couldn't as easily escape the cracks forming in her personal life. Behind closed doors, her once passionate romance with Guy Ritchie was beginning to unravel, and the fallout would be just as public as Swept Away's failure. The career versus marriage dilemma. Madonna's fans had seen her conquer the music industry, push boundaries, and reinvent herself time and time again. But when she embraced motherhood, she did so with the same unstoppable intensity that fueled her career. She wasn't just a global superstar anymore. She was a mother of 6, her biological children, Lourdes and Rocco, and 4 more children she adopted. However, when she decided to adopt David Banda in 2006, it sparked a firestorm of controversy. Critics accused her of using her celebrity status to bypass Malawi's legal system, fast-tracking an adoption process that should have taken much longer. Headlines questioned her motives. Was this genuine altruism, or was she fulfilling a savior complex? The media went into a frenzy, with some arguing that Madonna had bought her way through the system, while others defended her, insisting she was giving a child a better life. At the heart of it all, Madonna was always Madonna. She was never just Mrs. Ritchie. She was an unstoppable force, an artist whose career thrived on reinvention, world tours, and high-energy performances. That kind of relentless ambition left little room for the traditional quiet life her husband, Guy Ritchie, reportedly longed for.
We'd love to spend more time with each other.
I was going to say. It is an issue, yes.
For Ritchie, this dynamic became increasingly difficult to handle. As a successful filmmaker, he was used to calling the shots on set. But in his marriage, he found himself constantly in Madonna's shadow. While she was performing in front of thousands, reinventing pop culture with every move, he was struggling to keep up. According to insiders, Ritchie tried to mold Madonna into a more traditional wife. Reports surfaced that he wanted her to lead a more grounded life, so much so that he even encouraged her to wash his car on Sunday mornings. He was desperate for a sense of normalcy, attempting to integrate her into his world. He cooked massive Sunday roasts, hoping she would sit with him and their children to watch the British soap opera EastEnders, a show beloved by everyday families across the UK. Madonna, eager to make the marriage work, tried to adapt, but their differences were glaring. A close friend of the couple later revealed, "From the start, they were chalk and cheese. Madonna loved her millionaire, high-octane existence, while Guy was laid back and was never one for making extravagant gestures, ever." Ritchie found joy in drinking and playing cards with friends, including his close pal, actor Jason Statham. Madonna, on the other hand, craved attention and excitement. She thrived on glamorous nights out, the flash of paparazzi cameras, and the glitz of the entertainment world. But Ritchie wasn't that kind of husband. She wanted to get dressed up and be seen. She loved the glitz and the glamour and the photographers waiting for her. Guy wanted a wife he could have a whiskey on the sofa with, said a source. The tension between their lifestyles eventually boiled over. Madonna, who had built her empire on hard work and determination, struggled with the idea of slowing down. She was balancing motherhood, marriage, and an empire, something that many women, famous or not, could relate to. Could she truly have it all without sacrificing something along the way? Madonna herself admitted to the difficulties of juggling her career and personal life. In an interview, she reflected on the struggle. "It was the hardest thing, the toughest battle. Even today, I struggle to understand how to be a mother and do my job," she said, as reported by Fox News. By 2008, after nearly 8 years of marriage, Madonna and Ritchie announced their divorce. The separation was anything but quiet. The two openly expressed their frustrations. Ritchie famously called their marriage a soap opera, while Madonna hinted that she felt trapped by traditional expectations. Looking back, their relationship seemed doomed from the start. a collision of two strong-willed people whose visions for life were just too different. But what truly caused their marriage to unravel? What could have caused Guy to walk away from one of the most iconic women in the world? The big reveal. What really ended the marriage? Now, for the moment you've been waiting for, the real reason behind Madonna and Guy Ritchie's divorce. It wasn't just one issue that tore them apart. Instead, it was a mix of problems that built up over time. Madonna's close friendship with New York Yankees star Alex Rodriguez, Ritchie's skepticism about Kabbalah, their clashing views on fame, and even their disagreements over adoption. A source close to the couple summed it up best. They just lost their connection. Madonna repeatedly denied rumors of a romance with Rodriguez, but even her close friends admitted that his presence didn't exactly help matters. He was a factor in a long list of problems that they had been having over the past year or two, one friend revealed, but that wasn't the reason. If she wanted to move past that, she would have, and Guy would have too. One of the biggest tensions in their marriage was Madonna's deep devotion to Kabbalah, a mystical Jewish belief system. Ritchie was never really sold on it. Guy was never into the Kabbalah thing, but Madonna knew that, another source explained. While he would occasionally attend Kabbalah services with Madonna and their children, his commitment was more about supporting his wife than genuine belief. In a 2008 interview with the UK's Observer magazine, Ritchie bluntly admitted, "I don't really understand Kabbalah as a religion or a belief system." That was a far cry from the early years of their marriage when he was often seen at Kabbalah centers by Madonna's side. Over time, though, his patience wore thin, and he started making dismissive comments about her spiritual beliefs. "I don't think it's a religion as far as I'm aware," he told Extra magazine, downplaying the importance Madonna placed on Kabbalah. This growing divide added to the cracks in their marriage. But religious differences weren't the only thing driving them apart. Their views on fame were another major issue.
You've made one film with your wife. Will you make another?
I don't know. Never say never.
Madonna thrived in the spotlight and expected Ritchie to be part of that world. She wanted him to accompany her to high-profile events, but he resisted. She would try to get him to come to things, and he resisted. She was more about being a celebrity, and he was more low-key, a close friend explained. While Madonna loved the fast-paced, glamorous lifestyle, Ritchie preferred a quieter, more grounded existence. He wanted to live in London and lead a relatively normal life, but that's nearly impossible when you're married to the Queen of Pop. Years after their split, Madonna finally opened up about the real reason their marriage ended. In a 2012 interview with Newsweek, she revealed that working on her self-written and directed film, We, a story about a woman trapped in an unhappy marriage, made her reflect on her own relationship with Ritchie. She admitted that she had been married for a decade when she started writing the film, and during that time, she began to question whether true love even existed.
Love at first sight.
No, immediate heavy attraction.
Major chemistry, yeah, absolutely.
Both parts.
Yeah.
I was certainly asking a kind of existential question that I think people ask when they've been married that long. What is the perfect love? Because when you start off, everything's great and lovely, and the person you've married is flawless and you're flawless, she explained. Then time goes by and you share a life, you have children, and there are cracks in the veneer. It's not as romantic as it used to be. Her words made it clear that their marriage had been unraveling for a while. By the time their divorce was finalized in 2008, the once picture-perfect couple had become just another Hollywood breakup story. But even after they parted ways, their relationship continued to make headlines, especially when it came to money. Did you know Madonna had to pay Ritchie a huge divorce settlement? Madonna has always been one of the richest women in entertainment, and her divorce from Ritchie came with a hefty price tag. At the time of their split, her net worth was estimated to be around $490 million, about $700 million today. Reports suggested that she had to pay Ritchie somewhere between $60 million and $92 million as part of their divorce settlement. A spokesperson told the Associated Press that the amount was in the region of $76 million to $92 million, while BBC reported a slightly lower figure of $60 million to $70 million. Meanwhile, Rolling Stone estimated that the real number was closer to $75 million, about $107 million in today's money. Whatever the exact amount, one thing was clear. Ritchie walked away from the marriage with a massive payday. But the money battle wasn't the only thing making headlines. The couple also found themselves locked in a bitter custody battle over their son, Rocco. By 2016, Madonna and Ritchie were in the midst of a high-profile legal fight over their teenage son. The drama began when Rocco visited the UK to see his father while Madonna was on tour. When it was time for him to return to the US with his mom, he refused and instead chose to stay in London with Ritchie. What followed was a drawn-out legal dispute that played out in both the media and the courtroom. Reports surfaced that the teenager was under stress due to the ongoing battle, and in December 2015, a Manhattan judge urged Madonna and Ritchie to resolve the matter privately rather than drag their son through a messy court fight. Unfortunately for Madonna, she ultimately lost the legal battle. According to the Daily Beast, the judge ruled in Ritchie's favor, allowing Rocco to stay with his father in the UK. The ruling was a major blow to Madonna, who had always been fiercely protective of her children. While she and Ritchie eventually came to an agreement on co-parenting, the whole ordeal left a lasting impact on their post-divorce relationship. Since their divorce, both Madonna and Ritchie have moved on with their lives. Madonna continued to dominate the music industry, reinventing herself time and time again. She also adopted more children and expanded her family, embracing her role as a mother. Ritchie, on the other hand, went on to marry model Jackie Ainsley in 2015, with whom he has 3 children. But despite their differences, one thing is certain: Madonna and Guy Ritchie's marriage was one for the ages. It had passion, drama, and all the makings of a Hollywood love story, until it all came crashing down. And while they may have gone their separate ways, their relationship will always be one of the most talked about chapters in Madonna's legendary life. What are your thoughts about this? Share with us in the comments.